Okay, so when you've made your 21 hexagon shapes, you want to lay them out in this structure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white ones here, but you may want to do all the same colour, but we've got 6 down here and 6 the other side, and in the middle you should have 5 hexagons. Okay, and they end there because this is where it's gonna the handles are going to go, and at the top or the bottom you can put 2 extra either side, so you should have 21 in total. So this is the main layout, and this, when folded up, will turn into this shape. So here's what I made in some different colours, and so it should look like this, but you will have extra gaps on the corner, which I will show you once it's all sewn together. I'll show you how to crochet those up, so don't worry about the gaps on the bottom corner. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how I've sewn this together. Okay, so the way we're going to sew this together is I'm going to sew long ways all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to do that for each length and then sew the remaining bits up. So it's going to be sewn together rather than crocheted together. You can crochet together if you want to. So take any balls of your yarn, any choice colour that you like from the yarn you've got. So I'm going to do mine in white, and we're going to measure the length all the way down, and then I'm just going to double that up, and that should be enough. And then I'm going to cut my yarn. So take a length of your yarn, then I'm going to get a yarn needle, or you can use a sewing needle. Yarn needle's better, and thread that on, and then we're going to take our first 2 from the top. So I've just taken these from the top there, and I'm going to move all these aside. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the edges, and you should have 10 stitches along each edge. I show you on the blue. We've got the 2 little chains on each corner, so we're going to divide those in half. So count one of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so you should have 10 on each side, 10 stitches, and you can neaten off this end if you want to for all of your hexagons, or you can just work it into the joining. It's up to you. But what I do is I thread that on, and I just go through the same stitch that I slip stitched into. Let's get that little tug, and then that should help keep our stitch count clear to see. Okay, so we're going to pick a side to join, and what we're going to do is start in one of the corners. So in the corner, like I said, you've got the 2 chains, so we're going to pick one of the chains, but we're just going to go in the back loop, just the back loop. So the right side facing you, the back side away from you. The right side, we're going to go into the back loop only there, and we're going to pick up the other one, and again with the right side facing you, so you want all your tail ends on the back. Find a corner on here and pick one of the 2 chains and go through the back one of those as well. Okay, so you've got the 2 back loops joined, but that's what we're going to be sewing through, the back loops. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to secure that again with another stitch. So I've gone through that again. Okay, and then we're going to do that all the way along. So the next stitch, which is going to be a proper stitch, we're going to just go into the back loop of that one, find the corresponding stitch on the other side and go through the back loop of that one as well. I'm going to do that all the way across, keeping that tail end out of the way. Okay, so then the next one into the back loop, and then into the back loop of the next, of the opposite side. And do that all the way down for all 10 stitches. Okay, just doing a little whip stitch. coming up to the end, and what this will do, it will leave those front stitches nice and clear on the front of your bag. And let's just get to the end. So we've got one more to do. So we've got the 2 chains on this corner, so we're going to pick one of those, the last stitch, find the corresponding one, make sure they match up, and finish there. Yeah, so these left front stitches, skipped front stitches, will create a really lovely edge when you open it out like this. So if I bring this finished bag over here, semi-finished bag, you can see it creates a nice shape to your hexagons, so it keeps them nice and vivid. So do that for the whole of the bag. So now I've done that one, we keep the angle of this. So those are the 2 from the top, and I've started at the top and gone down. So the next one I'm going to join, if I was to bring in these 2, I'm going to now go down this edge and down this edge all the way to the bottom, and then I'll finish up all the missing edges at the end. Then what we want to do is we'll fold it in half. So once I've sewn all these together, I will come back and show you folding it in half and how to join for that bit as well. So it's really simple. Okay, so the next one for me is going to be the white one, joining down here, and let's pick this up. So we're going to find the next stitch, which is that other chain on the corner, the blue, find the corresponding one on the white and go through one of those. Join that and carry on working your way down. So next stitch is that proper stitch, back loop only, over to the other side, back loop only. So if you're just following the video tutorial and you haven't looked at the written pattern will have a diagram of how the bag should be laid out when sewing it together. So if you want to just double check the layout, you can see it on the written pattern in the PDF in your little special secret area. So just coming up to the end of this one, so we're up to the corner, take one of those chains, match it up with the chain that side, and then we've done, move the hair, then we've done that hexagon. So keeping an idea of the layout, so now we're here, we've gone down there and down there, so now we're going to take a blue one or white one depending on what colours you've got. We've actually got, if we count out if you want to do the same design with the white and the blue, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the whites, no, 12 of the whites, 12 white, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the blue. Okay, so that should add up to 21, hopefully. And so now I'm going to carry on with this next blue one by going into one of the chains on the corner and lifting it up to this white one and finding the next chain on there and working my next join. So I will finish sewing this together and then I'll come back and show you the finished shape and where to join it together, fold it in half. And we'll have a look at doing crocheting up the bottom corners, those final little triangle gaps. Such as, if we have a look on this one, so we folded it in half, you'll end up with these corners which we'll need to crochet. Okay. So I should do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so I've sewn all the pieces together in this shape. Okay, so you've got your 6 along each edge, and then you've got the 5 going down the middle, and then you've got the 2 either side just at the top, which will be the sides of the bag. So what you want to do now, once you've done all that, you're going to turn it over, and you're going to see you've got a lot of tail ends to deal with. But because if you're going to line the bag, we don't need to worry too much about these. So what you can do is you can just secure them by tying them in some little knots. You can just pick a couple of nearby pieces, tail ends, and just double knot them just to secure them, and then you can trim down the excess, because all these tail ends can be hidden with your lining of your bag. If you're not going to line the bag, then you may want to sew all these in if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this in half so that the top pieces join together up there, and we are going to turn it over. Okay, so these are joined together, and we want to fold these edge pieces in half either side, and we're going to sew the join here. So we want to join it to the other side of the bag. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 sides that you need to sew and join. We'll do that for both sides. Okay, so I'm going to do that and sort out my tail ends, and then I shall come back and show you what to do with these corners, which will end up with either side. Okay, so I shall do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so I've tidied up all my tail ends on the inside, and I've just knotted them like I suggested because I'm going to line this bag, and I've also joined the edges and sewn along the 4 sides, so it now joins either side, and you should have something that looks like this. But you're going to notice you've got 2 holes at the bottom, and they are actually triangle shaped. So if I flatten this down, you can see you've got a triangle shape. So what we're going to do now is we're going to crochet these up. So I'm going to turn my bag upside down so that the corner is at the top here, and I'm going to take the darker colour so it matches the side. So I'm going to take my yarn, and I'm going to take the same crochet hook, and what we're going to do is we're going to find one of the 2 chain spaces on this bottom side. I'm going to put my hook into there, and I'm going to join the yarn. So I'm going to bring that through the 2 chain space. I'm going to secure that with a little chain 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 half double crochet all the way across. So I'm going to go back into the 2 chain space and do a half double crochet. So in UK terminology, that's a half treble. Pull through all 3, and I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the next one is going to be the top of that first stitch there. Do a half double crochet, and the next stitch. So you should end up with 10 half double crochets. Okay, so we've got 2 main stitches left, and so I'm just going to go into the last stitch and then just work your last half double crochet, your last one, just work it into the 2 chain space, this big gap here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch up this edge, so you've still got your corner at the top. So we're going to find the 2 chain space on this white hexagon, put our hook into there, and we're just going to do a little slip stitch. Then I'm going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So the next one's going to be the top of that stitch there. Do a little slip stitch in there. And we're going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. So you do 3 slip stitches in total. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work. So now this row of half double crochets we've worked is at the top, and we are going to work back into these stitches. So skipping those 3 slip stitches, find that first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to skip those. So our first stitch is there, 2, 3 here, and we're going to half double crochet the first 2 together. And to do that, we yarn over, go into the stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over again, and go into the next stitch. So you end up with 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Okay. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 8 stitches, is it? No, 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the next 6 stitches, up to the last 2 basically. So 1 half double crochet in the next 6, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That should leave you with 2 stitches. Okay, these last 2 here. We're going to half double crochet those 2 together as well. So we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over again, and go into that last stitch, bring the yarn through. You've got the 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Okay. Then what we're going to do on this white side, we're going to slip stitch into this 2 chain space here, and then slip stitch in the next stitch. Careful not to miss it because it's going to be here, top of this stitch. I can get the hook in. Do a slip stitch in there and slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to yarn over and turn our work and work back across here again. And our stitch count should have gone down to 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So we're going to skip those 3 slip stitches we did, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to half double crochet 2 stitches together again. So yarn over, go in, bring the yarn through, yarn over into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through all 5. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 4 this time. Next 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that should leave you with 2 stitches at the end here, and we're going to half double crochet those 2 together as well. Let's go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over and into the next stitch, last stitch, then yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Then we're going to find the next stitch on the side and we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So slip stitch in the next stitch there, next stitch there, and the next stitch. And then we're going to yarn over, turn our work and work back across these stitches. Same thing again, we're going to skip these 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, find the next 2 and half double crochet those 2 together, same as before. Then we're going to half double crochet, 1 half double crochet in the next 2 this time, next 2. So half double crochet in there, half double crochet in the next stitch. Then that leaves us with 2 stitches. We're going to half double crochet those 2 together. So in there, bring the yarn through, yarn over to the last stitch, as neatly as you can. Yarn over, pull through all 5. And then on the side, we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 stitches up the edge. Just little slip stitches, 2 and 3. And then turn our work, working back across the blue again, and you should have 4 stitches remaining. So we're going to half double crochet the first 2 together, so skip the 3 chains, slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet the next 2 together, and then that leaves you 2 half double crochet those 2 together as well. I think I've gone into that properly. Okay. Then find the edge, and we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 up the edge, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so you're very near the top now. We'll turn our work, and you should have 2 stitches in the blue across here, 2 stitches. We're going to half double crochet those 2 together, so skip those 3 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3. Go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over into this last stitch, yarn in it over and pull through all 5. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 up this side as well, and find the next one. So that's already slip stitched into there, so it's this next one here. 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work. You should have 1 stitch there. So we're going to skip the 3 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, and that's your last stitch. We're going to do just 1 half double crochet in there. And then we're going to slip stitch in the last stitch, chain 2 space there. So you should be up to the top now, your chain 2 space. And what we're going to do is slip stitch into there. That's in your chain 2 space. Then on the other side, we're going to slip stitch straight into the opposite 2 chain space as well. Like so, and that's complete. So we can cut our yarn. It should be at the top corner. Just pull that through, and then if I just flatten this out, you should see that that triangle shape has now closed. So we're going to hide our tail ends and neaten that off, and repeat that for the opposite side. Okay. Okay, so I've just threaded those tail ends to the inside, and because I'm lining this bag, I've just tied them together to keep them secure. And there we go. So we flatten this back out. You will now see that that corner has a nice curve on it there, and all it is a little triangle shape, like so. So I'm going to repeat that for the other side, and then I'm going to come back. So all you need to do is you turn your bag upside down and make sure that the corner of your triangle is at the top, and we're going to join our yarn in the 2 chain space and do 1 half double crochet in the first 10 and follow the same pattern. Okay, so I'm going to do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so I've repeated those steps for the other side and hidden the tails on the inside, and there is the finished bag before it's got its handle and lining. So in my next video I'm going to show you how to line the bag. So it'd be easier to line the bag now before we put the handle in. So it should look a little something like that. There we go.